Welcome to one of the saddest cards in the tarot deck, the Five of Cups. Stay tuned to learn the bright side of this card and how to interpret this difficult card when it shows up in a reading. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we'll be learning the tarot deck one card at a time. Today's video is about the Five of Cups. This video will begin with a short description of the card. Next, I'll briefly explain what this card means when it appears in a reading. Then we'll talk about what each element symbolizes and what the card means when it shows up in both the upright and reversed position in a reading. I'll share some examples from my life so you can relate to the card in a real-world situation. And stay tuned until the end and I'll give you several questions to help you connect with the card. I will be using the Rider-Waite Tarot in this video. You'll find the link to the deck below, as well as to the many books that I've used in my research. So let's get started. In the Five of Cups, we see a person wearing a black cloak and brown boots. His back is toward us and his head is downcast. He is clearly grieving. He has 3 gold spilled cups to his left. 2 have spilled a red liquid and 1 has spilled a green liquid. To his right are 2 gold upright cups. There is a river flowing across the card. We can see a bridge on the right side of the card and a castle across the river. The ground is mostly brown, although we see green hills and trees surrounding the castle. When this card appears in a reading, it means that you are experiencing the pain of despair, disappointment, and loss as you focus on what you have lost. This is demonstrated by the cloaked figure staring downward at the 3 spilled cups in front of him. From his viewpoint, he not only sees spilled cups, but also his castle across the river without any way to reach it without diving into flowing water. Although this card is very sad, it is a reminder that, with a change in perspective, things will get better. If the figure in the card looks behind him, he will see there are still 2 upright cups remaining. And if he walks a little bit farther towards the right side of the card, the castle can easily be accessed by crossing a bridge rather than finding his way across the flowing water. So let's talk about the symbolism in this card. We see a person in a black cloak. The figure dominates the card, which I think is appropriate as grief seems to take over your life. Black is associated with mourning, but it is also considered to be associated with mystery and transformation. I think both apply here. The brown boots are a symbol of being grounded and seeing things as they really are. His head is downcast. He is clearly grieving. He has 3 gold spilled cups to his left. The cups represent emotions and also the gifts from spirit. 2 of the cups originally contained a red liquid and 1 contained a green liquid. Pam Richards, in her book Understanding Tarot, believes that the red liquid is blood and signifies the pain of the heart, a real emotional attack that has left him feeling injured. She believes that the green liquid can link to the heart chakra, which shows emotional and spiritual pain, so we have a loss that hurts deeply. Mary Greer, in her book The Complete Book of Tarot Reversals, brings up an interesting question. Exactly how did the cups get spilled? She suggests that the person could have kicked over the cups in anger, potentially leaving behind a legacy of abuse and rage. Pam Richards also says that green can represent jealousy and envy, with red representing split passions, guilt, and shame, so these may all form part of the loss. It is not clear if this man is the victim or the perpetrator. The little we see of his face and neck appear to be orange, which can represent the sacral chakra. This is the chakra that governs how we express emotions. To his right are 2 gold upright cups. The gold cups symbolize a gift from spirit. The ground is brown, so the grass appears dead on both sides of the river, adding to the sadness. There is a flowing river, and it can represent tears or deep emotions. It can also represent the river's Styx, that divided the world of the living from the world of the dead. So perhaps he believes that there will be life in the distance, without realizing that it exists directly behind him. There is a castle on the far side of the river. Castles represent safety and success. The castle has green grass and a couple of trees around it, which is symbolic of healing. However, the castle is far away and difficult to access, so reaching the place of safety and healing may take a while. I think that we all can recognize that grieving can take a long time. There is a bridge at the right side of the card. According to Marcus Katz and Tally Goodwin in their book Secrets of the Waite-Smith Tarot, this card depicts the sadness that Pamela Coleman Smith experienced as she departed Smallhithe, which we discussed in the Three of Cups. This is the place where she went to hang out with her suffragette friends and was always a place of joy. To get to Smallhithe, she had to pass over the Maidstone Bridge in Kent, England. You can see an image of the Maidstone Bridge on the screen. This is the same bridge that we saw in the Four of Wands. However, the Four of Wands was always a joyful trip, as she was going to a place she loved, while the Five of Cups was a sad card because she was leaving. The sky is gray, which indicates inner knowing and wisdom. When the Five of Cups appears in an upright position, it can symbolize that you are in mourning or experiencing sadness, grief, despair, or disappointment. That you have suffered a loss of some sort. It could be physical, emotional, or a spiritual loss, such as losing hope, a relationship, a physical object, or an opportunity, and your current situation is not what you expected it to be. It might mean that you are dwelling on the past and wish things were different, that you are experiencing self-blame or self-pity. Perhaps you believe that you made the wrong choice. It can mean that you are saying goodbye. And finally, this card can indicate that you are stuck in negative emotions and it's time to move forward, look around, and count your blessings. Here's an example from my life about being stuck in the past and wishing things were different. As I've said throughout this series of videos, I grew up in a small town in Canada. My family of 6 lived in a very modest 3-bedroom brick bungalow that was built in 1959. I'm going to put an image on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Most of the street had the same type of house, and mine was virtually identical to this home, which was next door, although ours had red brick and the garage was on the other side. It was torn down and replaced by the large house on the left. We have a joke in my family that the new owners really spruced the place up. I'm still in touch with my childhood neighbors who all still live in the area. I have noticed that they have experienced such sadness over the new construction. They have really grieved as they've seen their childhood homes torn down and replaced by what we call monster homes, which is understandable. But this is how it relates to the Five of Cups. They are so focused on what they have lost that they aren't looking at the positives. The reason that our childhood homes no longer exist is because they were sold so that we could move on to new stages of our lives. In my case, my parents sold the house and retired elsewhere. All of the neighborhood kids also moved on and built their own lives. We need to keep in mind that we have careers, spouses, and kids of our own, most of which wouldn't have been possible if we were still living in our childhood bedrooms. At least that's how I see it. When the Five of Cups appears in a reversed position, it is one of only 2 cards in the tarot deck whose reversed interpretations are more positive than their upright meanings. The other card is the Devil. The Five of Cups can mean that you are undecided about what to do next, that you are ready to forgive, that you are taking steps towards your future but are still struggling, that you are ready to let go of your painful past and to move forward to a brighter future, and finally, that you are feeling hopeful and maybe even happy after a period of mourning or loss. Here's an example of the reversed Five of Cups from my life about moving forward after a period of loss. As I mentioned in previous videos, I am a big dog lover, and my family has had several rescued dachshunds over the years. We now have 1 rescued dachshund and 2 rescued beagles. The only problem with dogs is that they don't live long enough. If you've ever lost a pet, you likely relate to the feeling of loss when they are no longer with you. I was in therapy several years ago when I had to euthanize my dog, and I remember discussing this with my therapist. She said, "When you're ready, you'll get another dog." I told her there was no way. I was not going through this ever again. And then she said something that stuck with me. A dog person can't be without a dog. And guess what? She was correct. And after a period of mourning, I knew that I had space in my heart for a new addition. My pup is now 8 years old, and I've had her for more than 7 years. I keep hoping that she will live forever because I don't want to deal with another dog passing away. However, the Five of Cups is a reminder that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we can move on after loss. Here are some questions to help you connect with the Five of Cups. Number 1, do you spend a lot of time living in the past? How is this impacting your life in the present? Number 2, are you stuck in a period of mourning? What can you do to move forward? Number 3, are you beating yourself up for making a wrong choice? Is it time to forgive yourself? Number 4, other than yourself, is there someone that you need to forgive so that you can move forward? Number 5, is it time to focus on what you are grateful for rather than what is missing in your life? And finally, number 6, what do you have to look forward to in your future? So I hope this video has given you a good look into the Five of Cups, and please join me for the next video, which is the Six of Cups.